Hello and welcome to another update video about Natgas. Natgas is really testing our patience again, trolling around support down here, around micro support. We want to keep it short today, not too much happened. We're still dealing with this ABC structure in a wave 4. It's a so-called flat structure, a flat correction. We are basically in this C wave of the wave 4 right now, which is an ending diagonal. Projections are for a potential C wave that might have started now. Bear in mind, in an ending diagonal, each of the subwaves are corrective, so we deal with ABC structures in the 5 subwaves. We're currently in the 3rd wave, and here we have an A wave complete, a B wave complete, and we're exploring if the C wave has actually started. That could be the case, but I start to doubt it a little bit. Nevertheless, we did hold support. As long as support is holding, we treat it like that. Invalidation point here for this setup that could send price higher in the C wave is the $2.46 level, because we have a potential 5-wave move to the upside, a potential ABC structure to the downside, which makes a so-called 1-2 setup. Ideally, we don't want the 78.6 fib level broken. It did break. Yeah, it didn't sustain below the level, but it still hints at some weakness. There's always an early warning. I do not give this setup a lot of probabilities, or very high probabilities. Wouldn't be surprised if we see invalidation here. However, if we see invalidation and price breaks below the last support at 246, we might not drop much because we've got the ascending trend line here. Okay, so that's going to be very important. It's a price channel in which the Natgas price is at the moment moving. And a break below 246, and if we then also break to the downside of the trend line, that could send us down quite quickly to $2.14, the previous swing low. And going below at that level would indeed be quite bearish. I mean, don't get me wrong, eventually we're still waiting here for another low on the Natgas chart. This is a potential setup to the upside. We can give it a chance to rally in the 3rd wave next of the C wave, but I'm not too convinced about the 5-wave move up. The move down did break the 78.6 fib level, so just be a bit careful here. Looking at the 1-hour chart, confirmation that we're going higher would be a break above here. As I said, I think in the last video, that 267 level could create a bit of an inverse head and shoulders maybe. So if we add here the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders potential, what is missing is the right shoulder. So that might be something. I mean, if we really deal with the micro level here, obviously you see the left shoulder, you see the head, and this could be the right shoulder with a break to the upside. And that could then send us quite quickly to the B wave high at 286 next. From an Elliott wave point of view, I mean, you could make the case for a micro 5-wave up here. And if we now hold that Friday low, this could be a micro 1-2 setup and it could send us higher. So either way, $2.46 is the relevant invalidation point. I would already say below the Friday low, that's it. But we have potential for an inverse head and shoulders. Something similar to what we did here. Very, very similar. Can you see that? You could also call that an inverse head and shoulders. Now, that's not a pattern I like, but it also caused a bit of a rally, and eventually expectations at the moment are for price to still go higher before we make that lower low on the Natgas chart. Here we had a very similar situation with this inverse head and shoulders. And as we broke above the neckline, price rallied significantly. Now, we don't typically call that head and shoulders. We call that a 1-2 setup as well, but that's just basically, sometimes they just work together. So this is going to be really interesting. Now you have a very clearly defined trend line, breakout point, very clear support or stop, and yeah, decent reward to risk ratio, I'd say. Let's see if it works out, but that is certainly what we need to be watching for right now. I think upside targets are clear, next resistance levels are clear. What needs to happen to see that further upside should be clear as well. Invalidation point is clear. So yeah, it should be fully equipped for the next moves. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.